I've always loved R&B music. I've always loved pop music. I've always loved Latin music. And anything that comes out is just like coming from that real place of like what I like, you know what I'm saying? And what I'm going through at the time, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, the songs that are on my EP. And I love that you keep saying it sounds like a love letter to God, because that's kind of what it is. Like when he told me to do music again, I didn't have an audience. I had 28 monthly listeners on Spotify. Like I was
you
like
hitting like over 100,000.
Yeah, like I don't, and I didn't have an audience. I didn't have an idea of like, who I'm writing for, who this is for. I'm just writing it to God. And that's where my EP From Me to God came from, was that real place. And actually the first song I wrote in like 2 years was the song Liberate Me, which is like kind of like a Latin R&B bilingual kind of, journey of a song. And, everything else came after Liberate Me. And so I'm really just like, I really just love to be creative, and wherever I am, whatever I'm feeling, that's the music that comes out at that time,
Okay, so we got to hit this, right? Like you come here, you having success, right? Doing music for God, and it's going great. Going viral, it's lit, right? It's up and it's stuck, literally, right?
Yeah.
But you and I both know that some of the most hard people to please are Christian people. Did you ever run into some friction with it still ain't enough? Like, because we know, like, it's like, it sounds like secular music, so it is. Like, did you run into that friction with other Christians of them saying you shouldn't be doing this, even though you say it's for God, it's not for God? Did you run into that at all?
Yeah. And that's, that you could read comments, I think every Christian artist, especially people who aren't in, like traditional gospel or, worship music, we all kind of get a version of that. You know what I'm saying? But I have my relationship with the Lord, you know what I'm saying? And my music comes from that real place with him. So, I have to say there's a lot more positive than there is negative. But yeah, to your question, that exists.
Did that ever like discourage you from making the music at all? Or did the good just outweigh the bad so much?
I wouldn't say it discouraged me from making the music. But I've thought about it, right? Like I think about those kinds of comments. I really want to honor the Lord with my life. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that it's a part of our faith to kind of like hold each other accountable, you know what I'm saying, in a way. But I think that it's also important to, understand that we don't understand everybody's assignment in the Lord either. You know what I'm saying? And we're all called to do different things and in different ways. And, God, we're all image bearers of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like God gave us human difference, and God gave us culture, and God gave us different experiences with him to like reach different people for him. You know what I'm saying? So I just really lean into that, and I definitely pray a lot about, wanting to steward my gifts well, wanting to steward, the responsibility that I've been given in him well. So yeah, it's
a lot.
It's real.
It's crazy because like even now, I don't make podcasts, music. I mean, you see Liquor right there. I'm very much so a human and flawed, right? And a sinner. But I do have a relationship with God, and sometimes it get heavy for me, like just wanting to be just perfect in the eyes of God, right? Just being honest.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about you, and as I listen to you, and I'm like, man, I wonder, like, does it ever get heavy? Like, just knowing that you're making this music for God, you look in a certain way, but you're still human, right? We're still flawed individuals. Like, does that ever weigh heavy on you?
Man, you got me on the right week. 'Cause yes, right? It does. But that, I think that it gets heaviest when I'm really focusing in my humanity of it, right? Like Jesus tells you that his yoke is light, you know what I'm saying? So like take Jesus, you know what I'm saying, to carry your burdens. And I really just have to remind myself of that, because I really want God to be pleased with me, and I really want God to say I ran the race well, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not perfect. I literally say and teach me, Lord, I know I'm not perfect because I'm not. I never will be. Right. And I think that's something that's really important to remember, you know, for all of us, whether you're kind of have some kind of influence in the Christian space or just in life as a person, right? It's like God is merciful. God is a God of grace, right? It's like, are there certain things we have to do to seek a righteous life and live holy for him? Yeah, but that's because that's out of love for him. You know what I'm saying? Because he loves us so much. So I think that it does get heavy some days, and I just have to just hold to that truth. You know what I'm saying? That you know, it's not. None of it is about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of it is about you. Everything is about him, you know, and he wants to hold you through it so that it's not heavy. It's like that poem you were saying, right? Where it's like, you know, you're walking with him, and then like at some point he just picks you up because he knows it's heavy for you, but nothing is too heavy for him, you know?